Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So this feels so weird. This is literally the first video I've sat down to film since having my little boy, and it's going to be all about how he came into the world. So this is going to be my labour and delivery story for baby number 2. I know a lot of people have like asked me what happened and if I was going to film another labour and delivery story, because I did for my first, and obviously the answer was going to be yes, because I wanted to kind of like put out my experience, because let me tell you, it wasn't straightforward. It did not go to plan. It was pretty scary. So without further ado, let's dive in. So as I said, this was my second birth. So like I had a kind of rough idea of what to expect, but I didn't at the same time. And also my first labour was really fast. Just a little bit of backstory. First labour was really fast. I think it went from contraction starting to her hit in 6 hours, which I know I'm incredibly lucky to have experienced. And I just want to say this first as well, like, I know a lot of people will listen to this story and be like, oh my god, you're so lucky, you've had 2 really quick labours, blah blah blah, they've all been straightforward. And yes, they were, and that is amazing, and I am so grateful. And obviously I have my babies happy and healthy, and they're here and everybody is good, and I know how lucky I am to have that. But at the same time, like, obviously I had a plan in my head, it didn't go to plan, and it was fairly traumatic because of the speed of it. So just don't like come at me in the comments, because, you know, I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, let's start at the beginning. My estimated due date was the 24th of December, Christmas Eve, and I, up until kind of about maybe a month before, thought that he was going to come early. Quite a lot of people thought he was going to come early. No idea on kind of when, but everyone was like, yeah, I just think he's going to come early. And lo and behold, that didn't happen. And I went to bed on Christmas Eve, still very much pregnant, still not really feeling a lot, just a lot of lightning crotch, and a lot of just kind of general uncomfortableness, but nothing, right? So went to bed as normal, and at 1:30 a.m. I woke up for my, I don't know how many of the night, and I sat on the edge of the bed, because I have to like sit on the edge of the bed to like make sure I don't wet myself first. Like up until that point in pregnancy, that's just the motion that I went through. Sat on the edge of the bed, oh, hold my pelvic floor, yep, okay, I can stand up and walk to the bathroom now. But this time I sat on the edge of the bed, and I just felt this like pool of liquid in my nether regions, and it was almost like the feeling of when you're on your period and you kind of have that weird little gush kind of feeling. It was very much like that, and I did think to myself at that point, have I just wet myself or not? Feel like my pelvic floor is intact. Not really sure what's going on here. Didn't really think a huge amount. I thought, okay, right, let's go, you know, the matter at hand here, let's go sort that out, go to the toilet. And as soon as I stood up, I just felt this, ooh, more of that kind of little gush feeling. Not like a whole load of water or anything, but just this like gush of liquid. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't piss myself. So then I quickly started to walk to the toilet, and then by the time I'd literally got to my door, so a couple of meters, I just felt this sudden like trickle down my legs, and I was like, oh shit, and like really quickly like scuttered onto the bathroom, sat down, and I was like, oh shit, I think it might be happening, which was obviously really weird, because it was bang on my due date. It was literally early hours of the morning of my due date, Christmas Eve. And I remember thinking, like, oh shit, like I literally sat there and my hands were shaking, because I was like, this is the moment that I have been waiting for, this like the start of labour, regardless of what was kind of gonna go gonna happen from there on. Like, this is the start. I didn't, obviously up until that point, I didn't know if my waters were gonna go first. I didn't know if contractions were gonna start first, because, bit of backstory, with my daughter, my contractions started and my waters didn't break until she was literally like on her way. So I had no idea obviously which was going to come first. So the fact that my waters went, and I hadn't really experienced that before, my waters went when I was in like the birthing pool with my daughter. I was like, I don't know what this is. Like, I just really panicked, and I was like, it's 1:30 in the morning, I can't just like message someone, I don't know what to do. I did message my best friend and I was like, I don't know, but I think my waters have just broke. She didn't reply, but I was like, right, I'm just gonna like put it out there just so I can kind of like feel like someone else is involved at this point, because I didn't want to wake Joe up or anything. So obviously I sat there for a bit and I was like, right, okay, what do I do? What do I do? So we had planned towards the end of my pregnancy to have a home birth. Spoiler, that didn't happen. But we'd planned towards the end of the pregnancy that we were going to have the home birth. The pool was all set up in the living room, ready to get filled up. I'd actually boosted the hot water the night before, just presumptuously. And yeah, so everything was kind of set up. And I was under instructions from my midwife that as soon as anything kind of started, whether that be my waters or whether that be contractions, because of how quick my first labour was, I was under instructions to call the main kind of like hub for Oxfordshire and to kind of say, look, this is the situation, whatever's happening is happening. So obviously my waters are broke, blah, 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 blah. So I finished what I was doing in the bathroom. I put a pad in because, again, under instructions to do that, so I could monitor the colour of my waters, just to make sure there's no meconium. And I came out, I sat on the sofa, and I will insert the footage, the only bit of footage I have from my birth vlog, which was my phone call to the birthing like hub people. Oh, hello. I think my waters have just gone. At home. This is my second. I'm bang on 40 today, actually. Yeah. I've had nothing other than the waters going yet, but I was advised by the midwife recently when she did the assessment to ring up quite quickly because I had quite a fast labour the first time round. Although my waters didn't go the first time, so I don't really know how long. I think it was, anyway. I am now, yeah. Oh. Yeah, I think that's my next, yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okie doke. I'll give them a call now then. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's 24 hours from now, isn't it? Kind of thing, yeah. Sure. Can I ask why that's happened, or? I think, yeah, because I saw her on Thursday, so I don't know if it changed since then, or... Oh, literally just... Oh, typical. You couldn't write it, you fucking could not write it. So I suppose it's a good thing that only my waters are broken, nothing else. Nothing else seems to have started yet, but I don't know how soon that will change. But sorry, I'm being quiet because Joe's still asleep. I'm gonna go and speak to him in a minute. But I just rang the main hub place for when you plan a home birth. The people that you're told to call, so they basically orchestrate who comes out to you and when and everything else. And she's literally told me home births have been suspended literally tonight, just because of staffing shortages. Obviously everything in place to have him at home, and obviously if nothing happens in the next couple of hours, I guess I'm not having any, well, maybe a little bit niggly pain, but only as of right now. But obviously because of how fast everything was first time round, I don't know how fast this is gonna go, meaning that I'm probably gonna have to have him in hospital. She said everything could change as of 8 o'clock this morning, but as I'm filming this, it's 10 to 2, so I don't know. It's just so kind. It's just so typical. Anyway, I'm gonna ring the maternity assessment unit because that's what they told me to do, to tell them. And then I'm gonna go and tell Joe. Just so, I don't know, I think we'll probably phone his mum as well and get her to drive up because she's gonna have to now. Literally so gutted. I think this would only happen to us. So yeah, as you gathered from that, I was rather upset to find out that home births had literally been suspended a matter of hours before my phone call to them. To say I was disappointed would be a massive understatement, because although obviously I'm so grateful that my baby is here, he's healthy, he's, perfect, and I'm obviously well, I had obviously in my head that I was going to have this home birth, and because this was going to be my last baby, this was my last chance to experience it, and the fact that this woman had just said to me it's not going to happen, well, she didn't say it in as many words, she basically said things could change, we're going to they were, I think, due to have a meeting or whatever, first thing in the morning. When I phoned them, I think, I will check what time it was. So it was 1:43 when I phoned them, so literally 10-15 minutes after my waters had gone, I phoned them, and yeah, they basically said everything could change from 8 in the morning, and I knew at that point, I was I don't think I'm gonna make it to that. Granted, obviously it'd only been my waters had broken at that point, there was no contractions, no nothing else, so I was I could be in for, the long haul here. I've essentially got 24 hours because my waters have gone to give birth to this baby, wherever that's going to be. So as soon as I got off the phone to them, I had to sit and have a cry because, like I say, I was disappointed, I was emotional, I was just like, what the hell's going to happen? I just didn't really know what to do. And obviously I just had that overwhelming sense of like, shit, what do I do? Do I phone Joe's mum? Like, I don't know what to do, because that was our plan, obviously, regardless of where baby was going to come, so that we had someone here to look after our daughter. So I then, after I composed myself, I came into the bedroom and I shuffled down to Joe and I was like, babe, don't panic, but my waters have broken, but I've just phoned the people and they've told me that a home birth is not going to happen today. So we both just in that moment were like, shit, what does that mean? What do we do? Like, I don't know what to do. So I said, well, don't panic. You phone your mum, get them to make their way. My waters have gone, but there's no contractions. So they've got time, but they live about an hour and 45 minutes away. So just make your way, kind of thing. So he did that. And as soon as he got off the phone, I had that like urge that I needed to go to the toilet again. So I went to go to the toilet and basically had what I experienced first time round, which was very loose bowel movement, and my plug came out. So I knew at that point, I was like, we probably are not going to make it to the 24 hours, which is a good thing. But equally, I just think that the home birth situation is going to be completely written off at this point. But I was like, right, okay, well, I'll just kind of see what happens and kind of go from there. Sorry, the light in here is really bad. So yeah, so I sat there for a little bit mulling over what to do. I was like, right, we've made the phone call. There's nothing else I can do. I've just got to see what happens, basically. So then at 2:02, I rung the MAU at the local hospital and I explained the situation. I said my waters have gone, I had really fast labour the first time round, was planning a home birth, but unfortunately now that's not happening. And the lady who was on the phone to me said, I will get midwife to phone you back, blah blah blah, we're really busy tonight, really sorry, but we'll phone you back as soon as. Because obviously at that point, like I say, contractions hadn't started or anything. So yeah, I was just basically to wait for a call back. And then nothing happened, no callback happened, and then within literally 15 minutes of me phoning them, I started having contractions, and I was like, here we can go. This is it. Like, this is actually it. I can see the end in sight now. And in that moment I was like, right, okay, well, Joe's parents are probably only just set off, so we've probably got enough time for them to get here, but we are going to have to go as soon as they step over the threshold. And in sheer panic, I tried to phone one of my friends who lives locally to me, to ask if she could maybe come around and sit here until they got here, should we need to go before they get here, kind of thing. Because obviously I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how quick things were going to progress, if they were. So I tried to phone her. She didn't answer the phone, understandably so. It was like 2:15 in the morning. So yeah, she didn't answer the phone, and I was just there in sheer panic, like, I don't know what else to do. I don't know who else to phone. Like, I don't really have anyone here that I can just phone. I had like another friend of mine that had said that she would be able to help with childcare, but not during the night because her husband is was currently deployed. So I didn't really know what to do. So I gave it 10 minutes. I kept trying her a couple of times, and I ended up phoning my next door neighbour, and I thought, I don't know if she's even going to answer the phone. Hopefully she will, but we'll just try. And luckily, thank the Lord, she did. She answered the phone and she was like, is it happening? Obviously she knew I was due, and I was like, it is, and I'm really sorry to have to ask you this, but is there any chance that if I need you to, will you be able to come and sit here just until Joe's parents get here? And she said, yeah, not a problem at all. Let me know how things kind of go in the next however long, and I'll come round if I need to, kind of thing. So I left it at that, and 10 minutes after I phoned her, I phoned back MAU and I said, I've been waiting for a call back, haven't heard from anyone yet. The last time obviously I spoke to someone, my waters have gone but nothing else. Now my contractions have started. I laboured really quick first time round, I don't know what to do basically. And they asked where we lived, and they said, given how far away you are, make your way in now. Someone will probably call you while you're in the car, and we can, the midwife can discuss things with you over the phone. And I said, okay, no problem. So Joe at this point was just like sorting some bits out. My hospital bags were ready by the door just in case anything needed to happen. So he went to get those put in the car, and he drove around the corner just to kind of like inflate his tyres a bit, and things. And by the time he got back, I said to him, I was like, we're gonna need to go, like they're getting really close together really quickly, which is exactly what I'd experienced first time round. Obviously little did I know at that point how quick my first labour was going to go, so I didn't know what was going to happen this time, but I said, we're going to need to go. We're going to need to go way before my parents get here. I think they'd more or less just left. Maybe they were halfway, I'm not sure. So I was like, right, I'm going to phone Becky next door, and ask if she can come and sit here until your parents get here, basically. So she said, yeah, not a problem, I'm on my way. So she literally got here. We were like, right, here's the camera for obviously Soph in bed, and let us know if you need anything. Like, Joe will message you, so you've got his number and stuff. Just, if you need anything, message us, but they won't be long. So then we left at pretty much bang on 3 o'clock, because that is when I phoned my mother-in-law. Sorry, the lighting in here is awful, but I can't move any further back because I'd be in the wardrobe. So bang on 3 o'clock, I phoned my mother-in-law and I said, we've had to leave, things are getting closer together. Becky's obviously sat at ours now. Obviously she can go as soon as you guys get there. We'll let you know if anything happens, kind of thing. And during that trip, so the trip to the hospital for us from where we are, like on an average day, is like half an hour to 45 minutes. So it's pretty lengthy anyway. And within, I'd say maybe 10 minutes, things got really, really intense. And I think because I'd experienced labour already, and I knew what every feeling was like, I knew what that kind of like urge to push was like, when I started to get that feeling after 10 minutes of being in the car, safe to say I shit myself. I didn't literally, thank God, but I metaphorically shit myself a lot. And in that moment, I said to Joe, I don't know what to, like, he was panicking because I was getting quite emotive, and starting to shout a little bit that, things were getting quite close. And in that moment I said, I don't know what to do, I'm gonna phone 999. So phoned 999. Luckily they answered fairly quickly, and they said, hello, is the patient breathing? And I remember it vividly, me just like mid-contraction, like, yes, it's me, I'm fine, kind of thing. And the woman was like, right, what's going on, kind of thing. And I was like, I'm in labour, we're on the way to the hospital. Like, I was trying my hardest to obviously vocalise what was going on, because although I had the phone on speaker, Joe couldn't really, like, he was trying to obviously concentrate on driving and everything else, and he was panicking obviously because of me, and he just probably felt completely in out of his depths at that point. But luckily he kind of like shouted over like what was happening, and they basically said like, where are you? And we said, don't really know, we're just like on the road down to the hospital, things are just getting really, really intense, kind of thing. And they were like, and then they said like, are you getting the urge to push? And I said, I just screamed, yeah. I remember the conversation. I remember screaming yes, because like I literally had that, like my body was pushing kind of feeling. Like I say, because I know I've experienced that, I had experienced that, so I knew what the feeling was, and that's what panicked me, because I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna give birth in the car, I don't know what to do. And then Joe was there like, we should have just stayed at home, we should have phoned an ambulance when we were at home, blah, 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 blah. Hindsight. But yeah, so anyway, on the phone to them, and they basically said, if you can find somewhere to pull over, we can come to you and we can give you assistance, but it might be up to 18 minutes before we can get to you, depending whereabouts you are, kind of thing. And I just said, I don't think I've got 18 minutes. And they said, you've got two options. You either pull over and we will send someone to you, or you keep going. And I just remember thinking, I'm the most indecisive fucker there is. Like, and now you're giving me this, like, not an ultimatum, but like, you're just giving me these two options. I'm like, I sheer panic, do not know what to do. So, 1 minute, can I just come a bit more forward? I think I can. There we go. That's a bit better, isn't it? Yeah, so sheer panic. I was like, I don't know what to do. I really just don't know what to do. And then in like within minutes, within a minute probably of me saying that, I could literally see the signpost for the hospital at the next junction. And I was like, we're going to keep going, we're going to keep going. Because like, I kept getting that urge. And I was like, I don't think, there's no way I can wait 18 minutes at this point. Like, I knew shit was hitting the fan, basically. So we kept going, and that was at 3:15. I phoned 999, and then at 3:21, after I obviously got off the phone to them, I phoned MAU back again. I said, I've been waiting for 2 callbacks. I haven't heard from anyone. We're on our way in. He's coming, he's coming, he's coming. I don't know what to do. We've literally just pulled off at the junction for the hospital. We're literally around the corner, but someone's going to need to come meet us, because there is absolutely no way we're going to get into the car park and walk up into the hospital. It's just not going to happen. So they said, yeah, no problem. Someone will be there meeting you at the door. So yeah, we pulled up. So like I say, bear in mind, that was 3:21. I phoned them. And I'll tell you, I was on the phone for 1 minute and 6 seconds. So 3:22, I got off the phone to them, and we pulled in front of like where the ambulance would kind of pull in to drop people into the maternity part of the hospital. And they said to Joe, they were like, just pull your car forward into this disabled bay here, and well, you know, you can sort your car out in a minute. They were out there like with one of those wheelchairs. They managed to get me out of the car, and I went on all fours onto like the bum part of the seat. So imagine like the seat's like this, and then my knees are like this, and I'm facing the back of the chair. I was literally on it like that, because obviously at that point, because I'd been sat down for most of the contractions, obviously getting back up again, there was no way I was going to be able to sit back down because things were happening. And yeah, so then they wheeled me into the thing, and I remember there was obviously one of them pulling me, and then there was one behind me, and I remember her like feeling low down to obviously see what was going on, to see if like his head was coming, because like she could obviously see I was in very active labour at that point. And then she disappeared. I don't know what happened. And one of them like pulled me in straight into delivery suite, into one of the rooms. I literally got off the chair, obviously meanwhile having really regular contractions and urges to push. And I literally just remember shouting, I need the gas, I need the gas, I need the gas. Because I was like, well, obviously I'm not going to get any other pain relief at this point anyway, but that is all I wanted. I was like, I just want the gas and air. So they connected that up to me, gave it to me. I think both of them were in there at that point, and then one of them ran off, I think, to go and get Joe. Thankfully she did. Other one stayed with me, pulled my leggings down, and kind of had a quick look. And I think it was after maybe one contraction, Joe then came in. She then said, I can see his head. You need to pull your legs apart, basically, because I couldn't even get up onto the bed at that point. I was literally like bent over the side of the bed. And she was like, he's coming, basically. And then I had this like gush of water, couple of like puffs on the gas, calmed me down a little bit, and then like his head, and then he was here. Like, it was mental. And he actually arrived at 3:30 a.m. So I phoned them at 2 well, I got off the phone to MAU at 2:22 and he was here by 3:30. So 8 minutes in between, like literally getting off the phone and he was here. Like absolutely mental. When I tell you, if my neighbour hadn't have answered the phone or if she'd have left any later than she had, we wouldn't have made it if we'd have obviously ventured to the hospital. If, like I say, in hindsight, we probably should have just stayed at home. We should have just called an ambulance and I would have had him at home still, just without a midwife, which would have been fine. But I just didn't know what to do in that moment. So yeah, that basically kind of concludes my labour and delivery story. Like I say, it wasn't what I planned at all. I know everyone says to kind of not really have a plan as such and kind of go in with no real expectations, and I would have said that after my first birth as well, but I think the personality type that I am, I needed to kind of like have a rough idea of what was going to happen in my head. I kind of thought towards the end, it's probably not going to happen, is it? Like, we have, as a couple, we have the worst luck with everything. So it honestly didn't surprise me when the woman said that home births had been suspended, because I was like, it's just our luck. It's just, I kind of have to laugh about it. But like I say, it doesn't take away from the fact that I am slightly disappointed that I didn't get to experience it. But yeah, it was what it was, and we're both fine and we are happy and healthy. But yeah, it was rather traumatic to say the least. I know not a lot of people would think that it was, because of the speed of things. People would be like, how would you say that that's traumatic? Like, everything was really quick. It was literally 2 hours from waking up and my water's breaking to him being in my arms. Like, that is absolutely mental. I still cannot even get my head around it now. And I, like I say, I'm totally grateful that it was that quick, but at the same time, I still just feel like completely, like, I feel like I'm a fly on the wall on the moment that it was happening, like that phone call in the car, like just the sheer stress that obviously we were both going through, and just that panic of what was going to happen. And it's not even like we could have, like, if we had have pulled over to wait for the ambulance, I couldn't have even sat in the back of the car because we had both car seats in the back of the car, so I had nowhere to go. I literally was sat in the front passenger seat with barely any leg room, because obviously my daughter's car seat behind me, and it was a whole moment. And yeah, that just sums it up basically. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know a lot of people were just asking about it, especially when I uploaded photos to say that he was here. They were like, that looks like you're in hospital, what happened, kind of thing. I think a lot of people just thought that because I'd planned obviously the home birth, that something had maybe gone wrong and I had to be transferred. And unfortunately, fortunately, that wasn't the case. But it's just what happened. It was what it was, and yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say on the matter, basically. Yeah, like I say, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Sorry it has been a bit rambly, because like I say, I haven't filmed a video in the longest of times. Hopefully I can get this edited up for you real quick, because I know a lot of people, like I say, are kind of wondering what on earth happened, and it's the story, isn't it? So yeah, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you all very soon. Bye guys.